All right, on my messy desk is a new Springfield Armory Mil-Spec 1911A1. Picked this gun up today. It was a transfer in. Bought it off of Gun Broker for an awesome deal. Had it transferred in. It took about 4 days to get to me. We had some severe weather, and I think it delayed delivery through the Postal Service. But it got here, and so finally picked it up today and thought that I would go ahead and do this quick out-of-the-box video. So, speaking of the box, once again, please forgive my extremely messy desk. But Springfield Armory's guns are coming in an extremely attractive blue box that can also be used for airport airline transport, which is very convenient. It is hard-sided, has a nice carrying handle, and a place for a padlock right there. So you need an airline-approved padlock to go through there to lock it, TSA approved. And, of course, you would need to be sure that the gun itself is unloaded to be checked in and transported through the airlines. As you can see, I have the serial number mostly blocked off there, but the serial number does start with NM. If you don't know why that's significant, I will be doing a rant on that coming soon. So let's go ahead and open the box, give you a look at what's inside. Of course, I haven't got my video tripod for my iPhone just yet, so I'm doing all this with one hand, best I can. By the way, if you can't tell, I'm a Springfield Armory fan. So, as with most new Springfield pistols, you get their complete gear set, accessory set, with polymer holster, which is okay for the range, not especially good for concealed carry. It is a plastic holster. I'm not a fan of plastic anything. That is why I carry a 1911. And of course, carrying your 1911 in a plastic holster is the quickest way to destroy the finish. So I don't recommend it. Back in the case. Of course, you got a double magazine carrier as well, also plastic. It has a Picatinny rail, accessory rails on each side to attach accessories to. Although, ironically, the gun itself has no rail, so I'm not exactly sure what you would be putting on there. A laser sight wouldn't be attaching to the gun. You'd only be attaching it to your magazine pouch, which you don't need a laser sight to aim. Coming down here, we've got a glassine package with 2 keys for the ILS system, internal locking system that's built into every new Springfield 1911. You've got an Allen wrench to make adjustments on your accessories. And you've got a little takedown pin. Let's see if I can get that separated out here. There you go. A little takedown pin for the mainspring housing. If you decide to do a detail strip on your 1911, the ILS system requires you to lock it in place with a takedown pin before you remove the mainspring housing. Otherwise, when you take it apart, the mainspring and the top part of the mainspring assembly will pop out, go flying across the room, and probably get lost. Operator's manual. Excellent manual, by the way. Of course, Springfield is well known for their great documentation. Of course, you get discount coupons for additional magazines, accessories, holsters, anything that that Springfield offers. There's also a, I believe, a membership coupon for the NRA inside that packet, which I have not unstabled. And let's get down to it. This is the Springfield Armory Mil-Spec 1911A1. It is quite possibly the closest replica to a true World War II Mil-Spec style gun. Colt does produce a 70s series 1911, and of course that would be actually the true Mil-Spec 1911. But number one, those guns are extremely hard to lay hands on. They're in high demand, and you're going to pay about $500 more for that gun than what you would pay for this Springfield. I'm a big fan of the military style, what people would call a plain Jane style, a non-enhanced 1911. I do have an enhanced 1911 here in a holster. I carry a 1911 on duty and for CCW. And when it comes down to it, my preference is always for a plain Jane Mil-Spec style 1911. So let's go through some of the features on this gun real quick. It also comes with a set of Cocobolo rosewood style Springfield Armory grips already mounted, and those are real pretty, double diamond style. It also comes with a set of black plastic grips. I know this is real dark. Try to get out of my own light here. There we go. Black plastic grips, probably for duty, because you don't want to be out there with your gun exposed, banging it up against things, fighting with people, with a nice pair of hardwood grips that are going to get damaged while you're doing that. Also comes with two 7-round flat bottom standard Mil-Spec magazines. Looks like they're threaded for a base pad. Those will stay in the box because for the most part all of my 1911s run Wilson Combat magazines. Get the box out of the way here. Once again, I seem to be standing in my own light, so I'm going to have to move around here a little bit. Made in the USA. We'll just touch on that real quick. Again, I'm going to have a little bit of a rant video on Springfield's Made in the USA policy and their exact manufacturing procedures, and the deception that they are currently attempting to pull on the American public. Not just the American public, any consumer that buys one of their Mil-Spec style pistols. And Made in the USA on this particular gun is accurate. This gun was assembled in Geneseo, Illinois, but a majority of the parts were manufactured in Brazil. Still got the empty chamber indicator in there, And I'm going to cut away for just a second to pull that out and get that Springfield tag off the trigger guard. I'll be right back. And we're back. So initial impressions, again, I'm going to try to keep this video as brief as possible. Initial impressions on this particular gun. This is a very well-built gun. It has the Parkerized finish, which I love. I like a dark finish on my 1911. And bluing, especially if you're going to be carrying it and actually using it as a service sidearm, bluing has virtually no corrosion resistance. Unless bluing is covered in oil, bluing itself is a controlled chemical oxidizing process that gets arrested before it actually turns the metal brown. But bluing is actually rust. And when you expose a blued gun to the elements, as you would in a uniform duty capacity, the blue finish has a tendency to rust rapidly, unless, again, it's covered in oil. And nobody really wants to carry a gun that is just saturated in oil all the time. So for military purposes, the Parkerized finish was applied to the 1911 to resist corrosion, and it does a great job. Parkerizing is a deep black or a charcoal gray finish, very tactical, low glare, and it works great for military and duty purposes, and it's highly corrosion resistant, so that's my preference for a 1911. Springfield is one of the only 1911 manufacturers out there that's still producing a 1911 with a Parkerized finish. I believe Colt offers it in a special model that, of course, anything that's an additional feature on a Colt pistol is going to cost you more. So, of course, if you want a Parkerized finish on your Colt, it's going to cost you more. This particular pistol from Springfield is considered their bottom of the line 1911. It's their most affordable 1911, and it comes with the finish that I most prefer. So that's a win-win for all of us. Just running through some of the other features, it does have what would be considered high-profile sights. They're not Novaks or Heine's or any of the brand name sights, but they do. They are much more highly visible than the standard GI style sights. It comes with a standard grip safety. On the Springfields, Springfield redesigned that grip safety and made it just a tiny bit longer, and then made the spur type hammer just a little bit shorter to eliminate a problem that some people had with what they call hammer bite, where the top of their hand, the web of their hand between their thumb and their forefinger, would actually fold up over top of that grip safety, and every time the slide cycled and brought the hammer back, it would actually pinch them right there, called hammer bite. Of course, as you can imagine, that's a great way to ruin accuracy, knowing that every time you're going to pull the trigger, the gun is going to actually physically injure you. So that's one of those things that Colt aficionados initially started paying gunsmiths to fix. They would put an extended beaver tail grip safety on there and a speed hammer in order to eliminate hammer bite. So Springfield eliminated that problem while keeping the original look, and I really like that. It also has the arched mainspring housing. According to the 1924 redesign of the 1911, that caused the flat mainspring housing of the original 1911 caused people's natural point of aim to hit approximately 1 foot too low without using sights at about 7 yards. So they discovered if they put an arched mainspring housing there, which increases the grip angle about 2 degrees, people's natural point of impact without sights, just pointing the gun naturally, it put the gun dead right exactly where they were trying to hit. So that is my preference for 1911, because I do subscribe to natural point shooting, and with the arched mainspring housing, it works great for me. It has a this is not a GI style thumb safety. The GI style thumb safety had a tiny little tab right up on the end of it here. This does have a little more meat on the thumb safety than the standard GI, but it's not an extended thumb safety as what you would find on an enhanced pistol. And I will be doing a video on the comparison of a Mil-Spec pistol versus an enhanced pistol. It does have the short, non-adjustable trigger, which is one of the things I will be changing on this gun. I will be adding a longer trigger, and it will be adjustable for over travel, because this one has, as it came out of the box, has the perfect amount of take up, but it has an excessive amount of over travel, and I'm going to put an adjustable trigger on that on there to take care of that. One of the things that purists complain about on the Springfield guns is that when you compare them to a Colt, the dust cover, this part of the frame, and the front strap are more blocky than the original Colt design. The original Colt, the front strap is more rounded and thinner and less squared off than the Springfield design. And same thing on the dust cover. The dust cover on the Springfield is thicker and a little more squared off than the Colt design. What I would say to those people is look at the new SIGs. Look at the new Smith & Wessons. Look at many of the new 1911s, and what you're going to find is the dust cover on those are not even close to the original Colt design. And as a matter of fact, all of the 1911 manufacturers now are selling 1911s with a rail right here on the dust cover. So that's obviously not even close to the Colt design. So this one handles perfectly, feels good in the hand. I even right next to a Colt, I would stack this gun up to a Colt any day. As a matter of fact, the shop where I went to pick up this gun had a new roll mark Colt 80 series 1911 in the case, and I handled it right next to this gun. And the Colt actually had sharper edges, had a rougher action, and had a looser frame to slide fit than this gun. And it was $350 more than I paid for this gun. So you're paying for a name if you buy a Colt. You get the all original design, but again, the tiny differences between this gun and the original Mil-Spec Colt are nearly imperceptible. Of course, some of the other enhancements that have been made to this gun that were not on the original military guns are the ejection port has been lowered and flared, and that's to aid in reliability, to keep the brass from actually hitting the slide as it gets ejected. That aids in not only reliability, but it also aids if you're reloading. It keeps your brass from getting dented up, from smacking against that corner right there as it's being ejected out. And so you're more likely to be able to reload your brass with a lowered and flared ejection port. And another big difference between this gun and an original Mil-Spec gun are these slide serrations. I prefer this. I like this look. These slide serrations are angled to match the grip angle, and it makes for a smoother looking gun. The Colts, the original Mil-Spec guns, have vertical slide serrations. It's a classic look. It makes the gun look older. I don't prefer that. I like this look, and I also like the fact that this gun does not have what they call forward cocking serrations. The serrations out here on the end of the slide, which are supposed to aid in gripping the slide during a press check to check the chamber. Which, by the way, you don't need to do on this gun because it has a little slot right there. See if I can get the camera to focus. It has a little slot there at the back of the barrel that you can look down through to see if there is brass shining through, which would indicate to you that the chamber is loaded. But I don't like forward cocking serrations for a couple different reasons. First off, they tend to chew up holsters. If you are a gunfighter, you're going to be doing presentations a lot in practice. You dry fire, you present, you do draws all the time. And those forward cocking serrations are like a cheese grater on your holster. Every time you pull it out, put it back in, that gun is chewing up your holster. And why? It's an aesthetic thing for me. I can do a press check on this gun just as easily without those forward cocking serrations. So I'm not a big fan of them. And they, when you're handling the gun, it's just more rough edges to tear things up, including your hands. So again, I'm a big fan of this particular gun and exactly the way that it's configured. I am a gunsmith myself, and this is the gun that if I'm going to build a custom gun, I want to start with. I will work on a Colt. I will work on a pair of ordnance. I'll work on a Taurus. There's no 1911 I won't work on. But for my particular preference, this is the gun that I want to carry on duty and on my person when I'm off duty. Like I said, I will be making a few small changes to this gun, and I'll document those on video as we go through. But for the most part, as it comes out of the box, this is my favorite 1911 of all time. And I have been shooting and carrying 1911s for about 28 years. The small changes I'll make to it are not going to change the function of the gun. They will just customize the gun specifically to me. So this is my first out-of-the-box impression of the Springfield 1911 A1 Mil-Spec. I'll be taking it to the range as soon as possible to get it broke in so that I can put it in my duty holster and carry it with me every day.